So after I finished doing part one and I had fixed that one syntax error, I did some more testing to find I actually had several more issues. And I thought, you know what? It's really worth spending one video where we just talk about a little more troubleshooting or trying to bug fix your code using dev tools. And I thought, you know what? This would be a good one to do it too. Even though we've been doing it the whole time, now we'll just have one focused on this and then we'll do part three to finish it up. So over here, what I would do is start by clearing my local storage, because that local storage may have values not populated correctly, and it'll allow me to just go look. So I'm going to put a value here that I know based on my logic what should trigger. I'm going to take off any breakpoints, and in this case in my form handler or anywhere else. I'm going to set to check the both have dishwasher and have washing machine, and I'm going to calculate. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say, okay, 36 points. And I might go here and think, well, what's the problem here? But then I'd remember, oh yeah, I actually haven't coded this yet. I haven't coded the results display, so it's that I can't even look at yet. So then I would come down here and I would look at the output. And I could actually just do a calculation, but I could also just start by doing an edit. And then if I scroll down with an edit, oh, I can see I already have an issue here, which is that my populate for form edit actually has got some issues. Now, so I need to look at that, and I would also look down here over my local storage and I'd drop my object and I would see, okay, and this is where we're starting to get quite a few key value pairs in here. So I would say, okay, my dishwasher machine runs, this value is set to 0. I know that's not true. That can't be right because I had 10 in there. My has dishwasher and has dishwasher machine, these are true. Those look okay. Okay. So I would probably start with when I get the value to see if I'm actually getting the correct value. So then I would come over here, and I could do this on an update as well. Okay, but what I'd probably do here is I would just update it, and then I'd be back at my calculate. Cool. And then I'd come down and I'd give myself maybe another one. Okay, maybe this time I do this. But now what I would do is set a breakpoint in my handler first and look at my dishwasher machine runs, because I know that was an issue. And I would calculate, it's going to hit this. And then to look at this value, if it doesn't pop out at me instantly what the issue may be, you know, and I've been showing this, but you really can just select that and it'll show me, oh, you know what? That's not a number. And why is it parsing int? And that's because on an input, it comes in a string, even if it's not a number. We've done that before. But why is it coming in as not a number? And in this case, I select that. Well, what is that really supposed to be? Well, again, if I don't remember, I could look at some of my other ones and realize, oh yeah, I don't have dot value here. So that means when I selected this, right, this was showing me the input and not the value. And if I do, just to remind myself, oh, that's right, it should have been a value. I'm parsenting it, okay, and which gets results in there. Now, the other thing about this is this code is returning an object. Because it's returning this object literal, we can't necessarily see each line run one by one in this case, so we just kind of have to stop it and then evaluate it by doing these selections or doing it in the console. Okay, so now let's go fix that. So this was on form handler. This was on get form inputs. Aha, right here. Okay, dot value. Okay, good. So I know that is now set correctly. Okay, so I'd probably clear my data again, just in case. This time I'd maybe go back to 10, go back to my original values. Okay, I would then look here. Now I could actually look at the form data to see if, okay, look, and I could have done that on the last one as well. Because remember, what comes back from get form inputs is the form data. And I see I'm getting true and true, and I'm getting a number. Awesome, right? And now I could at this point, and here is more info on how to use DevTools. Let's say I don't really want to look at this because I know that's something we're going to code later, so I could just say jump over that. And really, I could just say jump over all this, really, and I could just say, you know what, let it run. Okay, so if I let it run, that's my calculation, right? So now I could come over here and I could on this one hit edit, scroll down. Okay, so now I see that my check boxes are not working correctly. So then I would go and I would look at my check boxes under get forms. And I'd be like, okay, these look okay. So maybe it's not in the getting of these. And again, I could go to DevTools and look at them, but I could also just compare them. You know, I could do the whole, let me go ahead and update the entry. And now, right, so I could do this, right, false. And I could do this, and it was, should be telling me false. Oh, wait a minute, I haven't set them yet. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to double check now. Because I had true and true on those. Okay, so let me come back here. Dot checked is apartment. Okay, let's let this run. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was looking at this one when I really needed to be looking up here on populate form for edit. I was looking at the wrong one. That could be the other thing, is that because you have these same syntax words appear, it might be like, which one am I looking at? So now here is actually where we're getting the form values, okay, or we're populating them for the edit. So now I'm going to set this breakpoint now up here, and I'm going to hit my edit. And now I'm going to look at this to see, it's false. Dot checked is false. Well, I'm just repopulating it. Wonder what's different about this. And then I would start looking at other code, and I would see, oh, guess what I did is I didn't actually complete the rest of this line. So then I'd move back to my editor and I would look at this and I'd go, oh yes, I see. What I did is I didn't say equals, because populate form for edit is taking in the entry in object, and so I have to specify on the object dot has dishwasher the key. In this case the same, but this one is entry dot has washing machine. Okay, so if now I would check it. Okay, cool, because in my local storage, now this is where the data was fine, okay, or did they? Okay, actually let's do this. Let's go ahead and enter a new value. Okay, and on this value, okay, these are true. That's right, the last one will be the last one entered. And now in this case, if I hit edit, right, okay, so let's see if it ran. Just to make sure. And I think that sort actually was throwing me off there. So I'm like, okay, let's try this one. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that sort can actually, I almost want to take it off because of that, because it can throw you off because the order at which they're listed here, right, will be different than the order here. And that's why, probably the other strategy to do this would be actually to name, like give this like the first time, the second time. But actually see where that sort could cause an issue. Okay, so there's actually also two other things. One I had pointed out last time, I just want to fix while we're here because I did research it. And on the clear form, what I realized is that I actually have the input reference just on there, and I didn't need to specify that one. Okay, but there was nothing else on the clear form. And the last one I found, which is a total. Okay. Okay, so on the total, what I realized, and this is just by looking at it, you could actually add these things up, but I kept seeing as I was testing, I was like, my total looks wrong. Okay, so where's that at? That's in my calculator. Okay, so in my calculator on my footprint, I realized I was not adding, and this is not necessarily, you could go through and watch each of these calculate, and actually if I go here, and I hit calculate, right, I can see this run, and this is good to watch this run. Run, set the value. Okay, so it's else. Good. Now it's running through my logic. Aha, scroll back up. Right, because there was nothing in there. I had the default values. Okay, and then as I looked in here, so actually let's do one that actually makes more sense. And this way it will give us a chance to check our logic. Okay, so let's run this. So now we know we're going to hit that block. Yeah, 3. And now we're going to say, do we have both? Yes, we do. We multiply by 2 because you run the calculation. And now I see 6. And now I could say 14. Nothing for the household size, 10 for that. And then that's how I found that one, by just looking at it. But the other way I could have done that is just to calculate the total. Okay. But I was like, okay, I forgot to put that here. So let me go down and add. There we go. Okay, so in this case, those are just some of the ways, but more than anything, the more you get used to looking at the data and knowing what should be right, and just knowing where things are set and where you can go track through your code. And again, this is a great reminder of how well you understand the code we've been writing. And oftentimes we have to see things, I know I do, multiple times to see it. Okay, so this one is, let's see, yeah. Did I have this? Test and fix water consumption so far, because we have a little more code to write, and then we'll be done with this one. All right, see you on the next one.